You've probably never heard about Alex Collier, a former helicopter pilot for the United States Air Force. According to the former pilot, the event took place in the 1960s, when he was still a preteen and found himself in a rural area, and does not remember how it happened, but from, in the blink of an eye, waking up in a completely unexpected place, inside an alien spacecraft where he spent 92 days in the company of the crew members. And he would communicate with his new friends again. No talking. Also, see the strange case of the Molero brothers, abducted in Argentina in 1987, who claim to have strolled with God. That was true. It all began when, at the start of dusk, Alex was getting ready to leave the cornfield, but feeling very tired, he decided to take a break to rest, and ended up falling asleep, believe it or not. Waking up, he couldn't recognize the place, but noticed a figure near the table, or more, in which it was dictated. When he woke up, he realized he was aboard an alien spacecraft. In the pilot's words, "When I was lying on this table by my side, tackles a very tall man, a little over 6 feet tall, with pale blue skin, and physically perfect. All I can say is that I immediately knew what or who it was, but I wasn't scared." He lived there for almost 3 months, and claims that in this ship were the so-called inhabitants of Andromeda, from the Andromeda galaxy, which is located at a distance of approximately 800 kilofarsaghs from our galaxy, the Milky Way, or about 2,600,000 light years from us, according to what he said in his lectures. The ship was supposed to be around 900 miles in diameter. That's exactly what you heard. 900 miles in diameter. Converting that to miles, we get over 870 miles in diameter. This means that if this ship landed in the city of Uberaba, Minas Gerais, its edges would still cover the cities of São Paulo and Goiânia at the same time. For the dough, of course, yes. But according to the former pilot, that bill is hard to explain. But the dimensions of the ship would be related to the physical laws that prevent. Opposite the place where it was. According to Collier, there seemed to be other laws of physics inside the ship. In his words, "At that moment when you crossed its threshold, it was as if he was in another dimension, and its physical structure was undergoing some changes. They gave me a belt that I had to wear, and it held my atoms, molecules, and cells as if they were all together. It was literally formed." Did we lose this? It's that the interior of the ship had different dimensions, and to keep its atoms and cells together, without losing the structure of its own body, it was necessary for Alex to use a special belt, and somehow kept Alex's body structure intact. This also allowed the beings of the ship to physically touch it. And when that happened,
oddly enough,
Olive,
it feels.
And the lightest one.
and its lecture Fourier also reported that they are completely self-sufficient. Everything they need is on that ship. In a park of 21 square miles, or just over 31,000 square meters, there is, in the center of the ship, which seems to be divided into 24 different levels. In the park there are trees, small lakes, and everything else. What's curious is that all of this is made holographically. That's right. They are not tangible, only visible, and by them felt. In other words, for us humans, such holograms are only seen while they see and feel them. It should be comparable to how we feel when we're under the shade of a big tree. It was when he was taken to this park. He saw several Andromedian children
Being taught total doubt.
According to Collier, during the 3 months he spent inside the huge ship, he had the chance to observe and understand the society of those beings. And at the same time, he often says that he felt like a fish in an aquarium, since it was also constantly watched and attracted a lot of curious glances. In this case, he was the alien himself. From his host's point of view, that is, it's only natural for them to want to satisfy their curiosity about their guest. Collier also said that his host could read and understand perfectly your thoughts, so they could understand a bit more about human use from our world. In his lectures, Collier always compares time inside the ship to Earth time, according to him. One day there was equal to 31 Earth days. So technically he just stayed 3 incomplete days with their hosts, while here on Earth he was missing for 92 days. According to him, his host must have thought he was ill, since he needed to sleep regularly during his stay on the ship. Probably he was a victim of jet lag, a term used to describe the time disorientation caused by time zone differences. Of course, I'm exaggerating, since that doesn't exist in space. Let's think of it as a cosmic jet lag. If it's already uncomfortable for many people here, imagine they're so far from Earth. Inside the spacecraft, Collier only communicated with 2 beings, whose names were Thayus and Buruanai. The most amazing is coming, according to the 2 blue-skinned beings. The universe! It was created 21 billion years ago and has been home to 135 billions of humanoids. These are 7 billion years. There's more than what Earth scientists estimate regarding the universe's age. In his lectures, Collier often says that our science, it tells us there are 100 billion galaxies. However, we are only looking at a dimension. But according to the Andromedans, there are 100 trillion galaxies in the multiverse.
And every galaxy contains...
This is epic! Ancient civilizations, we are far from alone. Andromedians is the term used by Collier to identify their race. The former pilot also says that the universe is vast And humans are not alone in it. There are many other alien races, some benevolent and others malevolent. He also claims that the two Andromedans told him that humans are just beginning to travel through space, and that they will soon find ruins everywhere as they explore the universe.
What do you mean, ruins?
He clearly explained this to me, but let me understand that there will come a day when Earthlings will encounter worlds completely destroyed in the past, and
What's
today
happening
they
today
are.
is wild.
How will humans find this out?
Thank you. Bye.
Collier falls short in this regard, as well as in what will be found. There was a time when Collier felt that the Andromedan children, it appeared, fear it, Molero and I, one of the beings accompanying them on that incursion to the ship. He explained that the children were being taught about the human race. Maybe that's why they distrust Collier's presence in their habitat. In his talks, Collier makes these statements as if he's talking about his vacation on the farm. Dictated naturalness.
Okay, when is he going?
I understand the facts. The people who follow you get into the mood. Even though sometimes good laughs come from some detail in Collier's narrative. We heard you, Tancho, in the room where Nye lived. She closely observed what seemed to be meters and monitors installed on the wall of the ship, and she seemed unhappy with something. Goliath asked the host what was happening, and he pointed to our atmosphere on the monitor and said, humans do not understand why she is here or why they need her. This is a suicidal trend. Collier now reflects on what he meant by that, and understands that we, humans, have only Earth as our home. And if you don't take care,
Who is
her
God?
well-being will be the end of our race. The experiment
Catch,
added that
burn,
during his stay, the aliens treated him kindly and taught him about their historical culture.
Why do you? It's
He
something.
said that for 3 months they traveled through different planets and dimensions. After 3 Earth months,
Almost 3 days.
after being abducted, he was returned to his grandfather's house without anyone noticing his absence. He's trying to find out. A child disappears for 3 days and no one notices. Put things in order. In the early 1980s, he had a new encounter with his alien friends. But this time, instead of a long visit to the spaceship, the contact was made through telepathy, or through Collier's dreams, or through visions he began to have. This time, he was curious to ask why he had been chosen by them, given there were so many people in the world. Interestingly, they said it was because of that. The Collier family's genetic line, dating back to theirs, and that he has been on Earth for 62,000 years. The words...
Chicken and rice soup.
At that time, I tried to stop a fight between 2 other aliens and was killed. What madness, right? Well, Juliet bless that alien. Friends informed them humans are the only species that uses money, and that money is a way to exclude,
Gravity.
control. He claimed that one of the aliens, named Viseus, referred to money as paper with pictures. Physaeus was a veteran at his 43,000 years old. On the other hand, the Model 1A cost 17,000 Brazilian reais. Far I went, no doubt I did not. Another interesting thing that was told to him is that the United States Armed Forces, they are 400 years more technologically advanced than the world thinks they are. He also claimed that the army has reverse-engineered alien technology and secret bases on Mars and the Moon. God bless you.
What madness, huh?
This aligns with other theories that claim it to be true. At least one secret base on the Moon owned by the United States. Conspiracy theory. In the end, but they are great for stirring our imagination. Oh, boosh. Collier has said many times that he has proof of his claims, like videos, photos, and documents, but has not yet made them public. He claims to have been harassed and threatened by the government and other groups looking to suppress him. But even after, from all this harassment, he has been sharing his story to raise awareness and help humanity evolve and ascend to a higher level of consciousness. Today is not just about the Collier case that I'm going to talk about. There's also an incident in Argentina in the mid-1980s in which 4 children claimed to have been taken on a trip by God. The article was republished on November 15th, 1987, by the former newspaper Noticias Populares. If you met him, you know what I'm talking about. For those unfamiliar with the popular news, it was about a national tabloid whose fame came about their extravagant subjects covering from urban violence, extraterrestrial cases. There was even an ironic saying about this newspaper, to twist bleats, but the true slogan of the newspaper was NP, only reads who wants to. Well, the fact is that the Argentine press had published that there were strong evidences indicating that 4 children had been abducted by a UFO or unidentified flying object in the Concordia region. On August 9th of that year, the case was handled by Rodrigo Ortiz, an investigator from the Concordia police, who interviewed the children and also the witnesses who would have witnessed the moment of abduction. According to the investigator, Maria Miller, who was 8 years old at the time, and her siblings Emma, George, and Charles, of 6, 5, and 3 years old respectively, would have been literally sucked in by a disc-shaped object and a beam of bluish light. The object, which according to other witnesses, was a spaceship. The event occurred while the children were playing in an open field, further away from where the adults were. According to these witnesses, it happened very quickly. According to reports from that time, the children were missing for 3 days in a row, and during that time, they were taken on an interplanetary ride. Secretary. According to Maria's account, the 8-year-old child, the person piloting the flying object, that is the ship, had a very beautiful appearance, and different from the people down below, and at the moment, Maria thought it was God. She also mentioned that the being had told her they could call it Lalar. Lalar's hair was long and silver, and his garments were golden like the ship itself. One of the younger brothers, Carlos, said he found the person funny, with a big head and yellowish eyes, When they were brought back on the third day, the children showed no signs of any signs of violence, stress, fear, or sadness. On the contrary, they were all fine. Only one thing caught the attention of their relatives and acquaintances. They all had the same mark, at the same height on the left cheek, probably from the needle mentioned by Maria, according to the Argentine media, who approached the parents of these children, Carme and Emilio Molero. They refused to give any interview. It was reported at the time that the UFO had been detected by radars, but the authorities confirmed nothing. Moreover, the Argentine armed forces would have monopolized the investigation, not allowing independent ufologists to do their work, including a private investigator, Armando Asparin. Tried to get in touch with the child's family, but the military intervened and did not allow such a meeting, which only added to the mystery surrounding this event. Well, these two cases are quite intriguing, although much might seem exaggerated to some, especially Alex Collier's case. That was still too young to understand what it was. That the aliens wanted. Even so, they understood the entire message and more. Why would aliens choose a child, even when talking about their genetic lineage? Regarding the case of the Argentine children, which the Argentine authorities never allowed access to, there is a whole mystery, because it was poorly advertised and what was published raises several doubts, like, for instance, how easily an 80-year-old child should describe everything they saw. Not to mention that, as he was being claimed, passed from mouth to mouth, from article to article, more and more details were included. And the originals lost. What if it's true?